Wow, a long wait, 4 years in between albums. Yeah, it's been a while. What did the band have to say about the album? Oh, their 10 finest songs ever. What's up everyone, John from ARTV. It's time for a review of your favorite Alaskan rock band, Portugal the Man. Their new record is called Woodstock and it is their 8th full-length project. It's been about 4 years since we got Evil Friends, and if you know anything about me, that was actually my album of the year for 2013. I hadn't spent much time listening to them at that point, but whenever I just stumbled onto that record, I believe a viewer recommended it to me, I was blown away, I was captivated, and as I recently said in my vinyl tag video that I did over on Beyond ARTV, that is my most played record that I have on vinyl. Sitting back here in my collection proudly, I love that album from start to finish. Just such a solid vibe. They had a really cool thing. It was very comprehensive, but at the same time there were multifaceted layers to it. And going into Woodstock, I don't know. I don't know what exactly I expected. I thought maybe they would build on that and go in a different direction at the same time. And honestly, it feels a bit skewed this time around with Woodstock. It seems like they pulled themselves in a lot of different ways, and the Woodstock theme sounds cool for an album and an album title. The album art is awesome. I love the car on fire. But the tie-ins to Woodstock are loose at best, and this album definitely has some flaws that have kept me from really loving it, and I've found it to be one of my more disappointing albums of the year so far. This was one of my most anticipated releases, and listening through it the first few times, I was struggling to really find standout moments. I mean, there definitely are some, and I will say this, the second half of the record is much better than the first. But that first half really takes a little bit to get going. We start off with number 1, which features Richie Havens and Son Little. They definitely went out of their way to get guests that weren't exactly known, like Fat Lip features on the track Mr. Lonely. And I actually worked with the band on some promo for this record, but that still, at the time of releasing this video, hasn't seen the light of day. I was gonna put it in this video, but anyways, number 1 kicks off the album, and it's kind of a slow start, but I kind of can get on board with this atmosphere that they're trying to provide us with. It's just that I don't feel like we really get anywhere with that, and the guests are there. I don't know if they're adding all that much to it, but then we get into a little bit more of an energetic-filled moment on the next one, Easy Tiger, and that's where I start to see the band losing a bit of themselves, just getting a bit out of sync. I know some people will totally be on board with this sound, and I'm not saying that I hate this song by any means, it's just that it doesn't necessarily fit with the flow of Woodstock. This is one that kind of uses some electronic flourishes, some vocal manipulations, and I'm not huge on it here. Not saying that it's never a good idea for a band to do that, it's just that here I don't feel it was as well executed as it could have been, so it was a little bit of an issue for me, but still overall a decent song. But that's the problem that I'm having with this record. As I'm looking at it objectively here, I see that this album kind of has an identity crisis. It wants to be several different things, and I'm not saying that they're trying to please a bunch of different people. I think that they tried to do what was inspiring them, and as a result it came out a bit disjointed. And listening through this, I would say like the first 3 songs for me have a little bit of that problem coming to the light most prominently. Then there's a few others scattered throughout. Like there's aspects of Keep On that I really like. That's the 6th track on this record, and I like the guitar there, the melody, but it just kind of burns out. It's like a light bulb that burns out if you flip the switch on and off too many times. Even though not all of these songs may be their deepest to date or anything like that, they still had the catchy element that was working well for them on Evil Friends, and even on some aspects of In the Mountain in the Cloud, a record that I thoroughly enjoy and love, and seeing them bring aspects and melodies of that to fruition here on Woodstock really makes me fall in love with some of these moments. I thought Noise Pollution was kind of weird at first, but as I listened to it more, it seemed like there was hope packed into this track that seemed to be about a doomsday or what we were going through as a nation, that hard times in America and that sort of thing. And I like that this song has the other people on it. Zoe Manville obviously doing some of the backing vocals all throughout this entire record, more prominently here, and then Mary Elizabeth Winstead coming on and singing in French on the bridge of the track, which was definitely weird. And like I said, it can kind of maybe be a little bit polarizing. I did not get into this song at first, but listening to it in the context of the record, I like that it serves as the closer. And right before that, we got a couple of catchy moments, starting with So Young. I really like the guitar on that one, kind of a psychedelic, buzzy tune that has a lot of pop flair to it as well. A$AP Rocky is on this one, which I did not expect at all. He's not like officially credited as a feature on the tune, but along with Zoe Manville, we've got two voices doing that whole thing that I thought at first was pitch shifted. Then I looked into it and I was like, oh wow, that's A$AP Rocky saying that's So Young. It's catchy, it's spry, but at the same time, it kind of has that limited looping guitar and then a nice guitar solo that really just sends this one over the moon for me. Mr. Lonely featuring the rapper Fat Lip is a tad bit annoying to me. I like the rap verse on it, which I wasn't sure how I'd feel about that at first, but then listening to the song more and more, I think the main thing that detracts from it for me is those pitch shifted vocals that are made to sound so deep and the way that this track comes across. But it's still catchy, the way that it shuffles around in the chorus of the tune. It gets stuck in your head, but it's not always like in the right way. It's kind of like sometimes like that annoying friend talking over your shoulder and you're like, okay, go away, go away. The final two songs I have to mention are favorites of mine, starting with Tidal Wave. That is the next to last song on Woodstock. It's a very catchy and flamboyant tune, and it sounds like something that could have been at home on their last record, Evil Friends. It has those chiming keys, a little bit of the steady guitar in the background that builds up, and my one complaint really with this record, with the musicality of it, is that it all kind of blends together. I don't think that there's a ton that necessarily stands out, like one song just having really cool drums or one song having a great bass line or something like that. Although Feel It Still, obviously, I have to mention that one. A huge single, one that is definitely propelling them to more fame. I am glad that it's seeing the acclaim that it has because this is a hell of a song. I love it. It's been in my head since they released it a few months ago, and the music video for it is excellent as well. Definitely one of my favorite rock singles of the year so far. I'm glad it's seeing all that success, and it's just one of those nimble songs that makes you want to move your hips. You have to sway to the movement of that song. And Tidal Wave has traces of that as well. Maybe not quite as catchy, but not necessarily saying it's a competition here, but a very, very fun song. I like that one. Although it does get a bit repetitive as it goes on. I feel like we get back to that hit me like a tidal wave refrain a few too many times. Rich Friends is my final song to talk about, and if you haven't seen the music video for it, definitely do. I think it's excellent. If you've watched It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, you know the character Dennis. You have to see this. He's the star of the video, and the downfall of everything, the execution of the video and the way that it was made, I thought it was really clever, and it's something that I'd never seen before, so definitely check that out if you haven't. Rich Friends is a really, really fun song. I think it's kind of sarcastic and witty, and it has a nice guitar melody to it. I think it does stand out in this album. I don't know if it's necessarily one of Portugal the Man's best, considering they do have a really immense and talented catalog to look through. I'm definitely kind of let down by this record, guys. It kind of feels mediocre at best most of the time, although there are a few songs that I really do love. One that I don't see myself coming back to as an album like I did with Evil Friends, and waiting so long for this record, I do not think that it lived up to the hype. Me personally, I'm gonna have to give this a 3 out of 5. Agree or disagree with me? Let me know in the comments section down below, tastefully and respectfully. Let's get a discussion going because I know this is a record that seems to be dividing people, and if you're able to, leave a like on the video and support on Patreon. It helps the videos keep coming on a monthly basis. Couple of recent videos right here, including that Portugal the Man Evil Friends review. Other than that, I'll see you very soon right here on ARTV.